Hello. How y'all doing? Thanks for coming by. Good to see ya. And I hope it's good to finally see me. Yes, Specs. I am up. Hello. Let me just do a quick rundown here. Thank you everyone for coming by. Specs, Aiko, Raptor, Mod, thank you for the resub, man. Always appreciate you. Kana, my love. Citrus, good to see ya. Tommy. Maddie, hello, hello. Let me know if the music in the background is a little loud or a little low. I want to keep it so it's not too distracting, because I'm not used to talking with music in the background, so it kind of throws me off if I'm being honest. But yes, Bex. Nice. So I do apologize in advance. The playlist is only like 10 minutes, so hopefully we don't take too long with the slideshow. But you know, we'll see how that goes. Hope you guys are having a good day. I think I am. I'm quite nervous, so this is going to be long and rambling, I have a feeling, but I think we're going to have a fun time. So, show us what that model do. Well, I think I just answered that, but yeah. I've been making myself anxious all week, but it's good to finally be here. It's good to finally be debuting, you know. I know some of you have seen this behind the scenes a little bit, but it's nice to finally go public with all this. Hopefully that's the case, Raptor. Yeah. So, we'll be talking more about them later. I do want to give a shout out to my model artist, Nisei Joe, and the Rigor Supreme Slum Baby. I'm going to type their names in chat real quick. In brackets is Slum Baby's social network username. You can find them on Twitch as well as Twitter. Well, Nisei Joe isn't on Twitch, but same diff. Definitely check out Slum Baby's streams. They are awesome. But Twitter's the main place to find them. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you very much. But yes, I can't get enough of how Slum rigged this model. Like, in terms of like showing you what this model does, like, quite frankly, like, I just catch myself just sort of staring at just the way it captures my facial expression. Like, especially when I laugh. It's surprisingly me. And honestly, just like that feel of like checking yourself out in the mirror on a good day. Like, oh yeah, today's a good hair day. Hell yeah. Thank you, whoever gave that shout out to Slum. For the reference, definitely join us in following Slum, of course. But just for reference, for the remainder of the debut portion of today's stream, until we start doing some games, I have disabled the shoutout overlay. So mods, please don't bother using the exclamation point shoutout command. It will not do anything. So just stick to the slash shoutouts. No, that was the right one, Raptor. You're good, man. You're good. You're good, man. All right. Let's run through the toggles real quick, and maybe show the rest of the model, because we do have some stuff going on. We got some hip movement. We got some knee bending here. So, you know, when I'm on full display, I've got a little bit of our articulation. In terms of like facial expressions, I only really have the one just because I thought it was the most important one. There are more I could add later in terms of like scared expressions and maybe like shrinking my my pupils when I like raise my eyebrows or something. But I also like being able to, you know, do a little bit of an eyebrow wiggle. Also, Anna, thank you for continuing your sub. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. Good to see you here. So the facial expression I mentioned is just a sad expression. Because when sad things happen in video games, I do tend to cry a lot. So, Yeah. Hell yeah, Anna. Gotta keep those emotes going. Now, this might look a little weird to some of you, but I can take off my glasses. It's a very different feel. I'm not sure how often I'll do this, but I think it's cool. And if I'm adding... Thank you, Citrus. Who is that man? Who is he? I don't know this man. I've never seen him in my life. Also, I mean, got a hoodie, right? You gotta be able to wear it, right? Got that nice shadow detail as well. Fun fact, I actually made that shadow myself. I just took the hoodie layers, like shrank them by like 20%, I think, and then just made it all black and reduced the opacity. And Slim just used that in the rig. And they were just like, hey, yeah, no, that works. Let's go with it. Okay. And then for our last so I'm just a little confused by what happened in Twitch. Oh, I think Tommy may have resubbed, but didn't. There you go. There you go. Thank you, Tommy. Hello, Manga Jenny. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming by. Good to see ya. Now, one thing I will mention just briefly at the very beginning here. I'm not going to bring this up too much. Hello, Luna. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. I'm not going to mention Indigo. Always good to see ya. Kana, thanks for the gift sub, love. Okay, Jenny. Sorry, I don't refer to directly super often, so good to establish that. Also, I just realized I probably should have ended that goal. I'm gonna leave it going, but we'll need to correct that at the end of stream. Just reminders for later. Yeah, good to see all of you. Thanks again for coming by. But anyway, because I keep interrupting myself. Now, sorry, I'm I'm wiping my nose, and the RTX tracking freaks out when that happens. So just give me a sec. Also, I don't think I acknowledged the hype train. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let's keep the hype going. Thank you, Kana, for another gift sub. Appreciate you as always. Thank you, Citrus, for the 100 bits. You are always appreciated. Now, because I keep interrupting myself. All right. So the more people we get chatting, the better this stream. Like, I love you lurkers. You know that. But Daddy needs more VIP badges. And the way you get that is by getting 15 people talking at once for the time being. That's my next milestone for that. So just saying, if you're feeling chatty, if you're not busy doing other stuff, I'd love to see you in chat. No, lurkers are great, Indigo. But, you know, we've been sitting with a certain number of VIP badges, and I'd love to assign some more. So give a little activity to me, and, you know, you'll get some VIP badges in return. Also, Anna, thank you for the 500 bits. Teach, thank you for following. Appreciate you. Luna, holy cow, 1,000 bits. Thank you. Sleeping Chaos, thank you for following. Jenny, it doesn't matter that you have nothing to say. Honestly, just saying anything at all, honestly, is always reassuring for streamers. So honestly, just being present, making sure that you're there, that the streamer is aware of you, it makes a big difference, honestly. Like, people like talking about lurkers a lot, and like, they're great, don't get me wrong, but there is something about that feeling of like an active participant, or even just someone who like stops by and says hello every now and then. Oh my gosh, oh god. Thank you, everyone. I'm trying my best to keep track of all this for later, but I think I might have to give up at some point. Oh my god, Tommy, thank you for the gift sub. Kana, thank you for another gift sub. You're all spoiling me. I appreciate all of you. Teach, thank you for subscribing as well. Oh my god, Luna, another 500. All right. I mean, I'm not gonna refuse. Let's keep that hype train going. Wait, Kana gave out 5. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. You know what? I'm gonna stop keeping track. I'm gonna give the individual shoutouts, but I'm just gonna have to check out my stuff later and hope I get everyone. I'm getting so many notifications right now. I can't even keep track. So I'm just gonna quickly go back a steps. Tommy, thank you for the gift sub. Kana, love you. Thank you for the gift subs. Teach, thanks for subbing. That if I do become partner someday, that will get you a founder's badge. I'm pretty sure. I still have like another 10 of those ish. Anna, also thank you for the gift sub. Luna, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I am suffering in the best way possible. I am suffering. You know what? It's not even suffering. This is much appreciated. Thank you for all the love. It's like it's definitely unnecessary, but appreciate it every step of the way. No, I really didn't, Indigo. I really didn't. But I'm also not going to refuse. Also, I'm not sure why the gift sub notification has been popping off like that repeatedly. I don't know if there's just a lot of backlog. Because I am supposed to have configured my Streamlabs alerts so that when people do gift subs, that it should be just thanking people in a batch. Yes, Teach, I did see your message earlier. No, and also no worries, Jenny. If you're doing art, feel free to just lurk. I know you're here. But I was just bringing that up because not everyone is aware of the requirements for VIP badges, and I thought I would just sort of bring that to the forefront of everybody's brain. So, you know, if anyone has the wherewithal, if they have the ability to just, you know, pop back over to the tab and say hi once in a while and say like, yeah, things are going great, or like, boo this man. No, don't say that. Don't say that. That would make me very sad. That would cause this to come out. You don't want this to to happen live on stream, do you? I shouldn't say that. You fuckers probably want that to happen, don't you? Ditto. Thank you for the sub. Or gift sub. Thank you for clarification. So Teach's second comment here. It's a pleasure to meet you as well, Teach. Yes, Indigo is well known for his love of Pilk and introducing that to as many people as possible. And no worries, Jenny, there is no obligation to spend a dime. This is free entertainment. Hopefully it's entertaining. We'll see. Also, stuff is getting covered up with pop-ups, so just give me one moment to scroll through things. Thank you, Luna. That is very much appreciated. I'm proud of myself, honestly. You know, it's been a long time coming, but we got here. Okay, Mod, thank you for the clarification. Oh my god, there is actually a huge backlog. Yeah, definitely, Luna. We have to hang again. Thank you for coming by. Much love. Always good to see you. And I know you're probably stepped out already, but I believe you did spend 1,000 bits earlier. That would have unlocked you our first bit emote, which is the Gremlin, courtesy of the fantastic Fonuna. Hell yeah. You love to see it. I don't remember how much it is for the next stage, but we do have the Tizits emote still in the system there. Just to make sure it exists. Also, thank you, Cthulhu's. If there's one thing I aim to be, it's smooth. I was really worried that wink would go over poorly, because like RTX tracking is a bit of an odd beast. It tries to approximate stuff that it doesn't see. So if any part of you is obscured, stuff starts to freak out. Like if I cover my mouth, that happens. Hell yeah. Let's go. Yes, Luna, I was lurking in Nuna's stream last night while you were gremming it up. Love to see it. More gremlins for the army. Lunaness, hello, hello. Thank you very much. Good to see ya. Okay, I think I'm almost caught up. My glasses have not been a problem, actually. At least not noticeably so far. Did have some early issues with eye tracking, but it seemed to be an issue with both, with my glasses on and off. And hello, do you prefer if I just call you Kirsten, or do you want me to call you Kirsten Lee? Just thought I'd ask. Yeah, my glasses on my model look exactly as they do IRL. Kirsten, okay. Cool, cool. Good to see you. Don't worry about it, Becca. It is good to see you. Appreciate you. And I love y'all. That said, we do still have one more toggle. And we do have some slides to get onto. So I think now would be a good time to maybe consider doing that. Why don't we? So here's where I get lost in my source list. There we go. All right, so let's start talking about me. Why don't we? No worries, Triple B. It's always good to see you, though. Yeah. I mean, you all know I love talking about myself, so I'll just have to remind myself to lower my hand every now and then so that I'm not blocking the event list. Yeah, I'm exactly 6 feet Indigo. So let's just go through things in order. Just because I am. My parents aren't particularly tall, so I don't know. And I'm like just exactly 6 feet, so nothing. Wait, was that a level 5 hype train? Damn. Kana. I mean, you can certainly do that later. Anyway. Peachy Nacho, good to see ya. I remember you. Love seeing the turnout from Slum's community. All right. So let's get talking. So, as you all know, most of you, my name is Ties. It's pronounced ties, like the word advertise. That is an example, courtesy of Kirsten. Appreciate that. For some reason, I never thought of it. I would always say like the plural bow ties. It's like that. I have a friend who would always be like, oh, the ties that bind. And it's like, that's so corny. Now, my last name is kind of a holdover from a long time ago. It's Genesis. I just came up with something that I thought sounded cool in high school. My first video game console was the Sega Genesis, so let's say that's the meaning of that, shall we? But my plan is someday to maybe change that. Maybe based on someone I end up, spending a lot of time with later in life, Anyway. Also, Ryu, thank you for coming by. Appreciate you, dude. So I realize some of this may be obvious, but for those that are lurking, I am going to read all this out. So I am a dude. He, him are my pronouns. My birthday is August 24th. I mean, it's on my Twitter. I was born in 89. I'm old. That's whatever. As we discussed, I am exactly 6 feet. Just barely. Okay, mod. Already memeing. Nice. I'm not gonna attempt to do my rendition of that because it would just be too cursed. Now I am bi. I don't tag any of my streams with like LGBTQ or anything like that, but this is definitely a safe space for everyone of all kinds, creeds, all that jazz. But I appreciate both sides, and I appreciate them differently, so that's why I like to specify that I'm bi rather than pan. Yeah, and surprisingly, doing this teach, I've met a lot of people that are similar to me in age, and that is crazy to me, because a lot of VTubers I feel are in their early 20s, at least the big ones. So I didn't think I'd run into so many people around my age range. Yeah, Kirsten, I cannot order pizza in French. My French is abysmal. So yes, I am a Canadian boy, but I can only really speak English. I can read French boxes, but that's kind of about it. So what am I? I like to describe myself as a totally normal human dude, for realsies. Toki, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Is it that much of a challenge, Kirsten? But yeah, I am a human. Later on, we're gonna talk about why I specify that. But I like to add that little tagline there for realsies, just to make it kind of like, why is he saying that? Are you really? No, I am. I like to consider myself a monster person anime protagonist, whether you've seen Monster Musume. Honestly, I relate most to the protagonist of Gate, thus the JSDF bot there. It's one of my favorite anime. I highly recommend it. Main character is around my age, highly relatable as a big nerd who's also in the military. When I say also, I don't mean I have been in the military. I mean, he's a nerd who is also in the military. But that's a very cool show. I cannot recommend it enough. But I tend to put myself forth as a freelance consultant because I like helping all kinds of different people, human or not, with whether it's tech stuff, do a lot of troubleshooting. Just I like making sure people look their best on stream. You know, I want everyone's streams to be as good as they can be. Not everyone is into all this tech mumbo jumbo, and I want to make that learning curve as easy as possible for people. And no mod. we're not entertaining that. But yes, I just kind of put myself out there. I like to help people where possible. I have been asked to help name characters, come up with ideas for like graphics and stuff like that. I think I have a pretty high success rate. I usually get there eventually, even if it's not like right off the bat. And yes, I once upon a time was known as the Tiger of Toronto, but more on that later. It's not quite relevant right now. Let's not worry about it. And as always, I'm looking for friends, because the more the merrier. You know how it is. All right. So let us talk about my hobbies. I'm gonna have to juggle some stuff here because I got my VTube Studio window open on one screen. So I'm just gonna move my slides over to that same screen. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. DJ, hello. Thanks for coming by. Good to see ya. So, hobbies. I am a big voice acting nerd. Mostly when it comes to English voice acting, but I know a lot of Seiyu as well. It's sometimes a problem. Like, I will recognize voice actors sometimes based on their Foley. Like, they'll just come into a scene and be like, oh. I'm like, oh, well, that's Patrick Seitz. Duh. It's just like, okay, why do I even know that? It's weird, but it's also cool. My preference for reference is English voice acting. Not quite so familiar with the Texas VAs, like with Funimation and whatnot, but I'm getting there. But at the same time, I recognize a lot of the main Seiyu. Better recognizing male voice actors than female ones, but it is what it is. You'll hear me point out various voice actors in games very frequently. Now, I used to collect a lot of goods like anime figures and stuff like that. I have definitely cut down a lot on that because, quite frankly, I just ran out of space, and it was becoming a big problem. I may have a room in my apartment that looks like a warehouse right now with all the like shipping boxes and stuff that I have not unpacked yet from moving here like 3 years ago. Don't worry about it. In case it wasn't obvious enough, I love geeking out. Doesn't matter what it is. I like talking about my stuff. I like, well, ditto, we'll see. Maybe a U2's figure someday. Or maybe like an acrylic thing we might do as like a character good. There are some merch stores I could partner with eventually. Indigo, I swear to God. No. Anyway. Doesn't necessarily have to be video games or anime, like stuff that I'm directly into. Like a mutual friend of all of ours, David, I loved listening to him ramble about all his various specialty knowledge categories, whether it's talking about teas, whether it's talking about gemstones, geology, all that stuff. It's wonderful. You know, I love a person that knows what they're talking about and, you know, that they can convey that. You know, especially live, like off the cuff like that. It's a super admirable quality. So I love just listening to people just talk endlessly about what they're into, even if I don't necessarily understand it or retain any of that information. So my assets. Yes, mod. David is a glorious gem, a shining jewel. I might piss him off for that comment. Something refractive index. Blah, blah. Let's not worry about it. So my assets. I like to think I have a pretty decent sense of humor, a pretty sharp wit oftentimes. If you've seen me in chat, you've probably just seen me turn into an absolute gremlin and just sit there making wisecracks for like the better part of a half hour until you're sick of me. Or maybe until you can't get enough of me. Hopefully the latter. I like to consider myself a gaming jack of all trades. Generally with most game genres that I'm into, I can pick up new games quite easily, and in a lot of cases master them to a decent extent. Obviously, as some of you probably know, my proficiencies would be games like Fall Guys and Sea of Thieves more recently. But I also consider myself pretty good at like character action games. And I'm pretty good at strategy when it comes to like RPGs, but not strategy RPGs, ironically. I mean, feel as cool as you need to, Ditto. You keep doing that, man. It made another typo while calling out your own spelling. As I said before, I have been called upon to name characters. My first VTuber friend, Mothball, for example, called on me to help them name themselves, and that's always a point of pride for myself. I have asked them before if they mind me sharing that, so that's why I'm just disclosing that. And I'm sure I've spoken with a lot of you and suggested various things, so you know. And of course, I enjoy sharing the knowledge that I have with others. Like I was talking about before, I want everybody to understand as much as they can. Like, it's not a thing of just telling somebody like, oh, this is how you make your stream look like this, or this is how you do this, blah, blah, blah. I like to make sure that people understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, so that, you know, if I'm not there to help them in the future, they can try and manage on themselves, right? Now, I did want to have some negative qualities here. I am very, very impatient. And it's a weird thing too, because like, sorry, wiping my nose. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Because like I can be patient to a certain extent, but then it's very obvious when I've lost my patience. I do tend to ramble a lot and get sidetracked, and then sometimes forget my original point. So that's oh, Cthulhu's, coffee, Pepsi and coffee. Thank you, Kana. Yeah, focusing is a big problem for me, because I tend to touch on many topics at once and then forget to finish all of them, and then struggle to get back to the original topic. So having people keep me focused is is important. Okay. Are we doing cult stuff? Are we doing cult stuff in chat right now? Coke and coffee. Okay. All right. I'm gonna ignore that. So one thing that's always a recurring problem is my astounding lack of knowledge when it comes to Western movies and TVs. Nah, hello. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, I'm going. Yeah. Jiggy, hello. Thanks for coming by, dude. So getting back to focusing on the slide. So when people start talking about like movie directors or actors, like specifically when it comes to film actors and TV actors, I have no idea what anyone's talking about. Like, we ran into this during the Game Awards, like Hyacinth and Cthulhu's, you know, they see Idris Elba and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, who dat? Someone help, baby, help. And then as soon as they clarify who he is, I tell like one of the greatest jokes of my life. It's like, it just holds me back. It's like my limiters. It's like Rock Lee's weights in Naruto. That's a weird reference. Anyway, so despite my proficiency at Fall Guys, I'm pretty bad at battle royale games. I'm pretty decent at Fortnite, but I almost feel like that doesn't count. It's got so much other stuff going on. But in general, games like Apex and whatnot, I kind of struggle with those. I got better at Apex playing the arenas mode, but I have not actually touched the battle royale mode since doing the another Dragon Ball reference, since going to the hyperbolic time chamber that is arenas mode and getting cracked with the G7. Definitely want to do that sometime. Might do like a guerrilla stream of Apex, or maybe like over the next couple weeks. We'll see.
Yeah, no, Kirsten, I definitely get that. I feel like that's how a lot of my friends are with me when I start referencing voice actors. Like, oh, that's so and so, and they're like, yeah, that's cool. Sure. Yeah. So generally I don't get scared very easily. But one thing that always like is a issue for me is hospital equipment. I wouldn't say I have a fear of needles, especially like during the pandemic. I've had to get a lot of shots, obviously. So I've been managing with that. But like EKG beeps and like breathing apparatuses, like oh, someone literally said the word the other day. No worries, Mud. Have a fun lurk, dude. Thanks for coming by. Yeah. Because like when I hear someone with like a breathing apparatus, it just makes me feel like I'm struggling to breathe. And like some people like the patterns of like an EKG, but I always think about like the fact that that is a measurement of someone's life. And like, what if those beeps slow down? Like, what if they stop? Like, it's just so much anxiety. I don't like it. So I hate being in a hospital environment. I avoid it as much as possible. And then a miscellaneous thing. I didn't want to list this as like as a negative or a downside, but I can't get overly sentimental or emotional. I have not cried on stream yet. I guarantee you it will happen. There's a big thing I have when it comes to films and games when there's like even a character I hate. If they play that scene like well, I'll fucking cry, man. It's a problem. I'm like, I hate this character so much, but you play the violin strings so well, and I'm just like, why did my asshole couldn't have to die? Moving on. Indigo. Hey, Stellar. How's it going, pup? Yes, Raptor. That is something that I'm hashing out. Our Kana and well, our friend Comet Archer has been trying to get Kana to play that, and I've suggested that directly that we play Yakuza Like a Dragon on stream. It's in the works, but I kind of feel like we need to finish Haven first before we move on to that, you know? So we'll see. No worries, pup. It is what it is. Yeah, Raptor. We'll also see how Haven goes. I feel like that game might have some depressing moments. Well, we'll see. So, let's talk games. So anything by Kenichiro Takaki is amazing. Just for reference, he is the righteous boobage producer of Senran Kagura, or in Japanese, the Bakunyu producer. Yes, several times Cthulhu's. So the thing about Takaki-san is something that I'll always remember is when Senran Kagura Estival Versus came out. They had Ikitosen DLC characters, and the rights holders for Ikitosen blocked that license for coming to the West. We just did not get those characters. And then, like, time went on, and he would say in English on his Twitter, like, hey guys, I'm still working on this. I want you guys to have this content. I'm like, okay. And then after like 2 years, the Western publisher Exceed announced like, hey, yeah, so we're finally releasing this DLC. We're naming the characters after the Chinese heroes or mythological, like, Romance of the Three Kingdom characters that they're named after to avoid like copyright issues. But hey, you get to play as these characters now. And it's like, I always point to that man, and I'm like, that man went to absurd lengths to get his children, his masterwork into our hands. And he's also like been really adamant about getting in games like Uppers, which is really cool beat 'em up. Port for PC, unfortunately, is a little is very rough around the edges, but we eventually got it. That was an old like Vita game that came out like just as the Vita was kind of in decline. But eventually they came out with a Steam version. I think was produced by Xseed. But that again, I can only assume is like up to him just pushing that from his side, because he was always very passionate about making sure that we get to play all his games. Violet Paladin, thank you for the follow. Good to see you. And yeah, Kirsten, the Vita is still my favorite handheld of all time. The OLED screen was gorgeous. That was the first time I ever saw an OLED screen in my life, and it was like, oh, like this looks like I'm holding like a gemstone in handheld gaming format. It was brilliant, and it's very comfortable to hold. All the buttons felt good. Even the sticks felt decent for what they were. Can't say the same for the touchpads on the back. Those were a bit weird. Yeah. Moving on. Gravity Rush is like one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. It is a sandbox open world game with a French comic book aesthetic, with also very Japanese anime style to it as well. They even use like a fictional French-Japan language hybrid. It's very, very cool. We are going to be taking a look at that for sure over the next week or two. And I do want to do a whole playthrough of that. So that's one of the ones we're going to be focusing on for sure. Yakuza 7, aka Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is now the name of the franchise, is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. People always compare Yakuza to like, oh, it's Japanese Grand Theft Auto. No, it's an RPG franchise. It always has been. It's just an action RPG, and now it's a turn-based RPG. And it felt like the most natural transition in the world. It's wild. But that game has so much depth, it has so much comedy, it has so much charm. The music is amazing, the visuals are astounding. We're going to take a look at that sooner than later, but we've got some other stuff to finish first. Blue Reflection, one of my favorite video game franchises. The sequel in particular has some of the best writing in a video game I've ever seen. It has like the best redemption arc for an awful character that they introduced in the anime that ended up becoming my favorite character by the end of that game. I cannot talk up Blue Reflection enough. We are going to be taking a look at those eventually as well, but they are very slow-paced games, so I'm probably going to wait for my audience to grow a bit before I go through that, because I don't want to be just, you know, streaming to an audience of nobody and nothing, you know? Yeah, Cthulhu, anytime. Like, I will talk anyone's ear off about Gravity Rush, and I hope when we play through that game, people are going to be like, holy shit, Gravity Rush, though. How did I not know about Gravity Rush? Like, what the fuck? There's 2 of them, and both of them are like 10 out of 10. I prefer the original to the sequel. The sequel tries to do a lot, and it spreads itself thin, especially with regard to the epilogue. But I think the epilogue exists because the developers were basically told, you guys aren't making a 3rd one. And they eventually separated to make their own studio. They used to make the Siren games before Gravity Rush, interestingly enough. And now they're making Splitterhead, which is a very cool looking horror Japanese game. So that's something to keep an eye on. That's definitely one to keep an eye out for. Also a big fan of Etrian Odyssey. I love dungeon crawlers, especially those navigated with a first-person perspective, where you get to make a party, name all the characters, choose their artwork, stuff like that. All the nitty-gritty details. Not too much micromanagement, but something that really stands out about Etrian Odyssey more than any other is that you draw your own maps. It was a DS franchise. I really hope they port it to the PC or Switch eventually, or just try and figure out some way of making that work with console controls. But like drawing your own maps out of this tactile, like, you feel like you're in the game world almost. Also, thanks for the lurk, Ryu. Good to see you, man. Yeah, Kirby's Epic Yarn is another big one for me. Just the visual style and the music of that game is like, it's the easiest game ever, but it's just like the most feel-good game in the world, man. Like, definitely wanna that's a couple game if there ever was one. Like, gonna have to, you know, check that out sometime. Mama, thanks for coming by. Always appreciate seeing you in chat. And yeah, Cthulhu, it's worth noting that there are demos of the Etrian Odyssey games on the 3DS, so you might want to consider downloading some of those before the eShop closes down. Yes, Indigo. We will talk about that in just a second. Now, I am a big Resident Evil fan. I don't actually like the old ones very much. They're a little clunky and obtuse. I don't think they're bad by any means. I think they're masterpieces in their own right. They're just not for me. I really got hooked on them from Resident Evil 5 and onward. I don't like 7 though. The first person perspective is a bit weird. Like it works, but it feels off. And I feel like they didn't do as much with the new protagonist as they probably should have. They totally fixed that from in Village, which we're going to be checking out later today. In that they end up flipping it on its head because he's like this totally normal dude. But in like Village, it's like you're injecting this totally normal person into this wild, wacky Resident Evil universe, and he's just like, "What are you guys talking about? I'm just some guy trying to rescue my kid. Like, fuck off. Like, leave me alone, hot dommy mommy vampire lady. I don't want none." Like anyone would ever say that. But yeah, 7 played itself too seriously for how wild some of his characters were. Hey Sin, no worries. Thank you for lurking while you work. So I'm not the biggest Final Fantasy fan. I love the 13 games. I got interested in them. Yes, Jenny. Sorry, I read that comment. I was like, Jenny, are you sharing something traumatic right now? And it's like, no, wait, no, we were talking about Resident Evil 7. Yeah, whoa, oh, or 8, I guess. That had me really worried for a second. All right, okay, refocusing. All right, so Final Fantasy 13. I was looking at the second one as like a joke because I was a big Assassin's Creed fan at the time, and they had the Assassin's Creed Revelation skin. So I was like, what if I got Final Fantasy 13 2, used that costume the entire time, and pretended it was like a weird Assassin's Creed spinoff? And then like leading up to the game coming out, because like that was just a joke in my head, right? But then the first one's on sale for like $5 at Best Buy. So I'm like, you know what? Sure. And it became one of my favorite JRPGs of all time. We are going to play that sometime on the channel. I'm not going to talk too much about it. People have their opinions on the characters of Final Fantasy 13 and how linear it is. I think the linearity helps and is actually a breath of fresh air for the format. And I think there are redeeming aspects to those characters that people dislike that people don't really talk about. Like whether it's, Lightning's like more motherly aspects, or Fang and Vanille. Lots of stuff to say about them as well. Yeah, that's always a weird one, Cthulhu's. Yeah, you get to choose between your wife or the side piece that you met like minutes ago. So we have played Everybody's Golf on stream before. We made Becca in the character creator, and we got to showcase that game before the server shut down. Major bummer about that, but that game was a huge influence on me. You get to create, it's basically an open world golf game. You create a character, you get to drop yourself in that world and just play golf with other people, and they're all on the course at the same time as you. It's a really interesting feeling. Maddie, that is the vibe. I'm not a big popcorn fan either. I don't know if that's relevant to something that I mentioned, but hey, Tox, thanks for coming in. Good to see you. Toe Jam and Earl, we've also shown a few times on stream. Unfortunately, all their ports have issues, whether it's desync or just severe networking issues. We've run into some tech issues with Toe Jam and Earl back in the group, but I love those games. As you can tell from the background music that I'm playing right now, I do love the funk music vibes. And so I like, repping that vibe whenever possible. Ooh, that's not pleasant, Maddie. Take care of yourself. Yeah, Cthulhu's. I mean, Clap Hands, the developers of Everybody's Golf, doesn't make anything else, so I'm not sure what they're doing right now. They made a VR one recently, but they have not announced a sequel. And they used to be just like Mario Golf-ish games, but like with nonsense Sony characters with the occasional cameo, because the Vita one in Japan had Kiryu from Yakuza, and the Western version had Kat from Gravity Rush. So and I think one of them had I don't know Tekken. Is it Kazama? Kazuya from Tekken as a guest character as well. No worries, Jenny. Take care of that. You take care of that. And thank you, Tox. Thank you very much. But we'll definitely play more ToeJam Mineral on stream. We have behind the scenes switched over to the Steam version, and hopefully that ends up being more stable. We'll look into that more. So I added Wild Arms and Shadow Hearts here in response to the Kickstarters that were in progress recently for basically continuations of those franchises with the original developers. Man, the music and presentation of those really hit home. Those are some classic like PS2 era JRPGs. Wild Arms has I don't think it's considered a first party Sony franchise. It might be. Like, it's one of those weird ones that, like, almost like from the PS1 era where, like, Sony was trying to, like, make their own Final Fantasies and try to hit that level of success, you know? And I think with Wild Arms, they kind of nailed that. That and Legend of Dragoon, which I hope they add to PS4 so we can do a playthrough of that as well. Those are some good JRPGs. Shadow Hearts is really cool for its timing-based rhythm combat system. And the music in the first Shadow Hearts game was built as a horror JRPG, which was really interesting at the time. There's also a PS1 game called Kudelka that acted as a prequel to that. And then of course we've got Fall Guys and Sea of Thieves, the recent faves. I mean, Fall Guys I've been playing since launch, and that's obviously the game that I'm best at. Like, we haven't played that quite as much on my channel, but definitely it's a favorite amongst our friend group. It's definitely something where I've made a name for myself, both here and on other channels. So that will continue to be a thing. Now, genres. I like JRPGs, open world sandbox games, games like, Assassin's Creed, stuff like that. Also more off-kilter ones, whether it's games like Akiba's Trip, Gravity Rush, character action games, which is kind of a nonsense genre, but that refers to games like Devil May Cry, Bayonetta. There's some indie ones that I like Assault Spy and Ultra Age. Those are good ones too. And then dungeon crawlers. Not so much roguelikes necessarily. They have their appeal. I tend to prefer other games with the aspects of roguelikes. I'm really anticipating Zenless Zone Zero from the Genshin Impact developers, which will hopefully have another beta test soon. They've been teasing on their website, like just over the past week. But I like the first person, again, dungeon crawlers where you create your own party, you get to name all the characters. It's got that Pokemon appeal, Now moving on to anime. Now, anything by Keiichi Sixawa, he doesn't have a lot of adaptations. This is the man behind Kino's Journey, Allison and Lilia, as well as Gun Gale, Sword Art Online alternative Gun Gale Online. He's a huge gun nerd, and he was hired on as the firearms consultant on the Phantom Bullet arc of Sword Art, and they liked his work so much that they hired him. They just said, hey, you want to make your own original story in this universe? Go nuts. And it was phenomenal. Like, it's the best part of Sword Art Online, in my opinion, for his contributions. He also worked on the script for Blue Reflection 1. Unfortunately, what ticks me off to no end is the writer of Blue Reflection Second Light is not credited. I have no idea who wrote that game, and it's one of the best written games I've ever played. So I like to think he's still involved somehow. At least in spirit. He's part of that. He's part of that universe, for sure. Senran Kagura, not really. Yeah, Raptor. Yeah, the guy behind Gun Gale Online was behind Kino's Journey as well. I mean, Kino's Journey has these lovingly crafted scenes where, like, while they are like getting ready for bed, while they're getting ready for bed, they clean their weapon, and then when they get up in the morning, they do quick draw training. Like, and they frequently show this throughout the first anime series. There are actually 2 anime adaptations of Kino's Journey. One that is, I believe, random. No, I think it's linear, and it sticks to like the first volume of the novels. Unfortunately, the novel run was mishandled by Tokyo Pop and got discontinued, so we never got more than 2 volumes, or maybe even only 1. I'm not going to get up and check, but I have it in my collection. The second anime, however, they focused on like Kino's origin story, and then they focused on the favorite stories that fans actually voted on. Oh no, Jenny! Oh, gotta back up your work. Gotta make those saves frequent. Sorry to hear that. Hope you didn't lose too much progress, but that's always a bad feeling. I hate to see it. But yeah, Summer Wars and Bell. I love Mamoru Hosoda's films. He is by far my favorite director. Makoto Shinkai as well. I mean, we have Your Name listed later on here. Makoto Shinkai has too many like tear jerkers for me. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. It's a lot though, man. I don't watch movies to cry. I'd rather watch something that's got more like passion and like highs to balance out the lows. And Summer Wars and Bell are almost spiritual successors to one another. There is an NPC character that introduces the world of Summer Wars that appears at the beginning of Bell to introduce you, the virtual space. I forget what they call the social network in Summer Wars though. Oh, well, at least you have the sketch. Like, I know that's a lot, Jenny, but like, line art, you can still trace over the sketch work. So, oh, you're working on your own model. Oh, welcome back, Becca. Good to see you. Natsume's Book of Friends, aka Natsume Yujin Cho. This is a huge inspiration for me getting into VTubing, ironically enough. It's basically about a guy who is able to see spirits, and he's always sort of been ostracized. He's always kept to himself because of how people treated him when he was younger for interacting with these ghosts and whatnot. And then it turns out that his grandmother, who lived in the same rural area that he's moved to, had the same ability and left behind something known as the Book of Friends, which is basically the names of all these spirits that she basically beat up with a baseball bat and they had them write down their name in an address book. And in Shinto faith, if a yokai hands you their name, that name becomes the yokai, more or less. You can use that sheet of paper to command them. If you tear the paper, you tear the yokai in half. So everyone wants the Book of Friends, or they want their names back. And Natsume goes on a bit of a journey to return those names, to kind of reconcile his past with his grandmother. Also get to know her more, because as he returns those names, he gets little visions of her past, and he connects with all these various spirits and makes a bunch of friends along the way. It's a masterpiece of animation. Amazing soundtrack as well, very emotional. And I just think of like all the creative and colorful people in the VTubing sphere, and like all the people we're gonna meet down the road. And that's also why I consider myself a monster person anime protagonist, because I'm just some dude, but I'm gonna meet so many different people, and I'm excited for it. Also, Russell, hello, thanks for coming by, man. Good to see you. Oh yes, Cthulhu, that reference completely went over my head for a second, and then I realized you were talking about Reiko. Yes, Sin, it is amazing. So I bring up Sword Art Online again. I actually am a big fan of Sword Art. I avoided it for like a good couple of years until people turned on it. It definitely has some problems. We're not going to talk about them on stream. I feel like I appreciate SAO for other reasons than most people do. A lot of people wanted SAO to just be the first season forever. I like how Sword Art Online approaches the context of virtual reality and how it can improve lives and shape the future of our world. Especially since like VR chat was a huge thing like just before that, and before VTubers became a thing. I got to see how many people like were able to, you know, resolve or at least come to terms with like body dysmorphia and become their own person, be more themselves through VR chat, and like what that can do, and the people you can meet through a virtual world like that. It's really inspiring. Yes, exactly, Becca. A bunny oni, a snail crime boss, a gem man, a Greek god, a cat boy, a bartender, and a fire fairy. Yes. Also a cat butler man. Yeah, that's a big one. The Mother's Rosario arc suggests what can be done in the medical world through VR technology. Kirsten, I'm unable to unpack that reference right now. I'm sure there's something hilarious in there, but that... I think you're talking about VR. I think that's the joke, that you two can be your Ties the Hedgehog on DeviantArt, but now in VR chat. Anyway, Samurai Flamenco. You need to watch Samurai Flamenco. I can't talk about Samurai Flamenco. You need to watch the first 8 episodes of Samurai Flamenco. Watch it. For me. All right? Samurai Flamenco is a parody of, like, at the time that stuff like Arrow was coming out on Western TV about vigilanteism and, like, you know, the vigilante approach to Western superheroes, Samurai Flamenco has the vigilante approach to Japanese heroes, or, you know, Super Sentai. You've got a guy who wants to become a Super Sentai, and he has to struggle with the fact that he's just some dude like me, but that's not going to stop him from doing that. And then you get to episode 8. Episode 8. I know that's a lot. I know normally for us anime fans, it's 3 episodes or nothing. But I implore you. That show is a masterpiece. It does not get enough appreciation. I cannot say anything about it. No worries, Triple B. It'll come up. It'll come up from time to time. We have a few friends that are into Tiger and Bunny. Especially our buddy Nip Caligo. If you are someone who has been into shows like Tiger and Bunny, definitely check out Samurai Flamenco. It will definitely be up your alley. Moving on. Ajin. If you have Netflix, you can watch Ajin on Netflix. Watch it dubbed. One of the villains has some of the greatest English voice acting I've ever heard. And I don't even know if the man is credited because he doesn't normally do voice acting. And I don't think he's like a major TV actor or anything. He's just amazing. That show is like the greatest like suspense thriller with some light horror aspects. Cthulhu's, yes. I would go as far to say that. It is similar in what it accomplishes with that episode. And the rest of that show goes on a similar, like, transition. But that's all I'm going to say. Now, Don Machi, aka, is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon? It might be, but we're not going to worry about that. I like that show a lot. Again, if you're going to watch anything from Don Machi, just look up the Minotaur fight on YouTube. That is one of my favorite fight scenes in like anything. And there are some other really good ones. The third season of Danmachi in particular really has some heart-wrenching moments. I was surprised because the second season was kind of blah. But the third season, even though it had like animation issues out the wazoo, it was amazing. I can't recommend that enough. Oh, Becca. You Indigo, is it wrong to try to pick up femboys in a dungeon? I don't think it is. I think this is something we need. Anyway, I also really like History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi, localized as Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple. Not much I can really say about that. It's just a amazing shonen show with a protagonist with a heart of gold. The martial arts in it and the way that the character develops is really, really cool. There are a lot of like, it never really finished its adaptation, but the anime is great as it is. There are some OVAs that I have not watched that are based on later manga chapters. They did that weird thing where you could get like these bonus DVDs with certain manga chapters. And that show is just really cool. It goes to some really cool places, and it's got Tomokazu Seki as the main voice actor of Kenichi, and he is like one of my top seiyuu. Are you talking about Kenichi, Sin? Just for reference? Also, Grand Blue Fantasy. I like the gacha game, but the anime is where it's at. The fighting game as well is also really good, although it doesn't have rollback netcode, so but the anime, gotta watch that dubbed. It is like a Saturday morning cartoon. It is glorious. Like, the English voice acting they have for Vern completely makes that show. It is amazing. Also, like all the other voice actors, like Kyle McCarley as Gran. I believe it's Kira Buckland as Lyria. They all do a phenomenal job. All right, calm down, Indigo. Manga. We're gonna keep this short because I'm not much of a manga person. Bloody Monday is a very cool thriller suspense thing about some terrorists that are trying to release a virus, and how one high schooler with the power of the internet, the ability to hack, will try to thwart their plans. It's very cool. Also, Hokkaido gals are super adorable. Gyaru are awesome. Hokkaido gals is full of amazing, like, pure characters. I shouldn't say pure. That's a weird word. I don't like using that word, actually. They're earnest and endearing characters. It was also recently greenlit for an anime adaptation, which I never expected. Also, possibly my favorite romance protagonist of all time. Like, there are some frames where, like, the protagonist is just kind of doing his thing, being himself. I'm like, even I'm fucking swooning. I'm like not into guys like that, but like I'm like, damn, if he was around me, I'd be kind of like, ooh, he's a cutie. Anyway, Unbalance and Balance. So I don't have it listed here, but Kurokami is one of my favorite shonen animes. That show goes to some places, also has an amazing dub. It's got the old voice actor for Sonic in that. What was his name? I'm gonna have to look this up. It's been a long time. Kurokami. Jason Griffith. Yeah. It's also got some weird cameos. Like there are a few episodes where the Star Trek kid, Will Wheaton, played a character for a few episodes. So that was interesting. Yeah, Specs. I know that one. But Unbalance and Balance is by the same writer, although it is a manhwa. So the artist, I believe, was Korean for that one. That one, again, like Kino's Journey, we only ever got like 2 volumes of it before the English license of that ended. So that sucked. Also, I don't have it here, but I mentioned Gate earlier. So again, for favorite anime, Gate just thus the JSDF fought there. Also, I thought I had Psyche K on here. Okay, we're gonna talk about that later. Don't worry, that'll come up later. But one last note about Gate is the voice actor of the protagonist in the English dub as well is one of my favorites. He has a very like down-to-earth, endearing performance in like every role I hear him in. He actually won some awards. David Wald is the fellow's name. He's great. He also plays in Danmachi. Welf Krotzo. He plays him in the English dub. Yeah, Jenny, sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I said I was a voice actor nerd. It's happening. Hokago Play is another cool manga. It's basically just about a dude and his girlfriend playing games after school. It has this weird focus on Earth Defense Force, which is a long-running series of like budget third-person shooters where you shoot giant insects in like a ruined city. Can't recommend those games enough. They're amazing, but it's weird to see them directly referenced in a manga so consistently. Music, Nano is a favorite of mine, the J-pop rocker artist. I actually followed them when they were in a Utaite on Nico Nico Doga and YouTube before they got a record deal. So it's good to see them like continue to evolve. I also like Japanese internet rap, which is a term that Mori Calliope coined. Alalem is my favorite Utaite when it comes to that. Definitely recommend checking him out. He's got a lot of cool covers. Most recently, he released a rap cover of Kickback, the opening theme of Chainsaw Man. So that's the easy recommend. Also, Topham Hap Kyo and Fake Type. If you love electro swing and combined with rap, amazing. Kohei Tanaka is the composer of One Piece and Gravity Rush. He has also worked on Resonance of Fate alongside one of the long-running Tales series composers, Motoi Sakuraba, I think. But yeah, Kohei Tanaka is amazing. Hayato Asano is the composer of the Blue Reflection games. Amazing soundtracks there. Piano, violin, synth. The best. Just the best. Those soundtracks for those games are some of the best. When it comes to Vocaloid, my favorite producers are Giga, Kira, and Michi M. My favorite band is Man with a Mission. Just a bunch of cool dudes with wolf heads. Hell yeah. You've probably seen them before, even without knowing it. There's something I wanted to say about Man with a Mission. But I'm not going to dwell on it. Yes, he did Cthulhu's. It's actually kind of a shame. I've been going through... I got back into One Piece recently, then ran out of episodes on Netflix. It is very clearly his music, but it's amazing how much... Yeah, the opening of Iron-Blooded Orphans, the Gundam series, is by Man with a Mission. But yeah, One Piece's music is very repetitive. It uses a very short number of tracks repeatedly. Yes. Now, let's move on to my likes and dislikes. This got a bit long in the tooth. I'll try and run through this quickly. So, I like to refer to two of my favorite flavors as the two chas, matcha and sriracha. Anything matcha or like green tea flavored is a big favorite of mine. I love spicy stuff. Sriracha is a big favorite, but I like a lot of hot sauces. I had this weird thing where I thought I was into gochujang. Turned out it was more the sauce that they use with Korean fried chicken, which I believe is Yeongneom, which uses gochujang, but like the actual like gochujang paste by itself, he did not stand when I tried it myself. So it was rough. I love jerky. Beef, chicken, turkey, bacon, it's all good. Cheez-Its obviously have become quite a meme on this channel, so I always feel a need to mention them. There's the Ties-It box. There's the classic. There it is. Water jelly. I don't know if there's a term for this. It's a Japanese thing. It's an Asia thing. Apparently they have these in America as well. In Canada, I don't know if it's a common thing at all. But basically, instead of like a juice box, it's like a jelly packet and like a Capri Sun-esque kind of packet, and it's like a jelly that you drink from it. And the texture is really interesting and is very refreshing when I tried it myself. So I think that is how juice boxes should be. They're wonderful. Kelpis, the Japanese beverage as well, known in the West as Kelpico, is also really cool. It's like this weird milky fruity beverage, kind of tastes like an orange creamsicle. Can't recommend those enough. If you can find that in like an Asian grocery near you, definitely recommend it. I'm into chicken wings, miscellaneous barbecue. Again, more, you know, the perfect like sauce delivery method. People always talk about ketchup chips when it comes to Canada. The real culture is all dressed chips. Yes, that's where I got the water jelly originally. I got it at T&T Supermarket, which is a Canadian chain of Asian groceries. Takis, another favorite snack. I love anything with caramel in it, like caramel pastries and donuts with caramel in them, like chocolates with caramel. Sometimes Reasons, a German candy that's available in Canada. Apparently not super common in the West or in America. I've mentioned that, and like all my American friends are like, I've never heard that in my life. Yes, and gotta rep that Canadian pride. I love seafood. Oddly enough, I'm not big on sushi, or maybe I just haven't had good sushi before. But I love seafood of all kinds for the most part. I'm not much of a big drinker, but plum wine is my easy favorite there. I very much just try things that I want to try, so a lot of those end up being Asian focused, like soju. When it comes to beers, like Asahi, Sapporo, stuff like that. Those are my usual go-tos, but plum wine is something different. I love it. Pumpkin pies are my favorite, like seasonal thing. Cinnamon pastries, you know, cinnamon buns, apple fritters. That's the good stuff. All the fall things, all fall themed things. I love hoodie weather, you know, brisk fall weather. As was
made pretty obvious, I'm quite into the ASMR kind of vibe. So
that's something I plan on getting into myself. But that's kind of on the back burner for now, because that I need the time to make those videos, and I just want to focus on this, you know, for the time being. Oh, I don't know why you're without sound, Kirsten, but hopefully you can fix that. Yep, Raptor, I've heard that sushi improves based on proximity to the coast, and I am nowhere near the coast. You're welcome, Becca. I love making fun of the garbage anime on Netflix. Stuff like Seven Seeds, Japan Sinks 2020, High Rise Invasion. I don't think that's trash per se, but it is the schlockiest schlock you'll ever schlocked a. Whoa. It's a thing. I like making fun of that stuff. Raptor and I have also long played this game called How Long Till Keith Silverstein with Netflix, because that man shows up all over Netflix, and I'll just like message Raptor out of the blue when I start watching something new. I'll just be like, yo, so I started watching this Keith Silverstein episode 2. This just out of the blue, and he knows. I like reading flavor text when it comes to games. I have a thing about wanting to deliver flavor text well. I was always that kid back in school where when people just read just because they were obligated to, and they read like with zero emotion, it drove me crazy. I always wanted to read everything because I was good at reading stuff and like the delivery of that, which is yes. Keith Silverstein is the voice actor for Zhongli, and Torbjorn from Overwatch. Yeah. From a tall king to a short king. So I always laugh when I see this. I brought up femboys for a reason. So, okay. So obviously, sorry, again, I'm wiping my nose again. Thank you very much, Russell. Appreciate it. So obviously on my first slide, I mentioned my orientation, but this sort of journey of self-discovery started in a very weird place where back in the day, you know, you would always watch shows with your friends and you'd be like, okay, who's your favorite character? Who's your waifu? And I would always pick a character that would eventually be revealed to be a femboy down the road. Always. Without fail. I had the strongest gaydar. It was amazing. In like the best way. And like my friends would poke fun at me at it. It became a meme in our friend group. And then eventually got to a point where I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going all in. Like, there's clearly a reason why I like these characters, and then that's just honestly kind of how I kind of figured out some things about myself. So I like to talk about that because it's silly, but sometimes that's how you discover things about yourself. And yes, I also like Gyaru. You know, motherly women, also appreciated. Don't worry about that. The culture was just kind of spilling off the slide. It's fine. Ignore that last comment. There's nothing more. You don't need to worry about it. It does not trail off for paragraphs and paragraphs. But you know, let's not talk about like tomboys and abs and... Anyway, so I didn't put this under my like titles and whatnot, but on multiple occasions I have called myself the king of the double down, because when it comes to streamers, people always like to try and bully or tease streamers or like suggest like things that they think they won't like. I like to either double down on those things or flip them in such a way that people regret making those suggestions. It's always funny. And I think people have appreciated the opportunities that I've done them before. My most noteworthy ones of recent renown would be Ditto bringing up that they were so close to reaching rank 50 with Order of Souls and Sea of Thieves, and then I just ground out like 9 levels of that to beat him to rank 50 in a night. And then I beat him to Pirate Legend, and now I have more hours in Sea of Thieves than him, and I've only owned the game for like 2 months. Yes, that's the classic one, Indigo. Because you were always asking people about whether they like pineapple on pizza, and then getting people to try Pilk. And I'm like, but what about pineapple Pilk?
Also, Kana, I saw you. Yeah, you know.
Yes, it's let's call it the sane insanity. I have accurate control over my insanity, and I weaponize it in the most with the control. I am still sane despite the insane things that I do. So dislikes. Not a big fan of Ghibli, believe it or not. I don't have anything against Ghibli films. I don't like think bad of people who enjoy them. I just think they're basic. That's all it is. I love Princess Mononoke and Castle in the Sky. But as a general rule of thumb, I'd rather watch something from Mamoru Hosoda or Makoto Shinkai. Cthulhu's, that did not happen. When I did use the pineapple drink mix, the Crush pineapple flavoring, it didn't curdle per se, but it did coagulate. The important thing is when you're doing Pilk, you need to use proper, like, actual, like, cow milk, ideally skim, but I know some people have used, like, 2% or whatever, and they've been fine. Like, it's all the people that we know that have tried, like, goat's milk or soy milk that have had a really bad reaction to it. It's just not for me, Becca. So I dislike horror games, but as I say here, it's not for the reason you might expect. I'm not scared of horror games. I'm really not. I was introduced to Resident Evil when I was a child. I saw someone's like stepdad playing it at a friend's house, and that gave me a high tolerance for horror games. Also made Jill Valentine my favorite video game character for like the longest time. But I don't like horror games because a lot of them don't have good gameplay. Like they're just walking simulators nowadays in a lot of cases, and that's not gameplay. Jump scares have no honor. They have no point existing. It's just a loud noise. Like Spooky's House of Jump Scares has little cute critters that pop out, their little wood signs that pop out and it makes a big like sproying noise and it spooks you because it's just a loud noise and a sudden shape that comes on screen. That's all you need for a scare. Jump scares are meaningless. You have to have the psychological aspect. You have to have cool creature designs. You have to have good gameplay so you feel the thrill of the fight actually playing a video game. It's why I like Resident Evil, because those games play great. They have cool characters. They have weird, goofy characters. They also have amazing monster designs. Cthulhu. I am not big on Satoshi Kon. I think he's very artsy-fartsy. Was not a big fan of Paprika. I have not seen what was it? Millennium Actress, I think was his other big one. I've not seen that one. Also, I mean, Inuyasha, to be fair, is pretty hot. Kinda. Hey, Ice Thrasher, thanks for coming by, dude. But yeah, Spooky's House of Jump Scares is really cool. I think that's a very intelligent game that does a lot to expose the genre for what it is. So I'm a big shoot 'em up fan. I hate when people call them shmups. It sounds like a slur. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't like certain stream trends. Like I don't like watching people spend money on gacha games. I think that's being a bad role model. Like it's okay, I guess, if that's literally all you play and it's your job. But like otherwise, keep that off stream, man. I don't like normalizing the idea of spending money on gacha games. Also, we're going to be talking about this later. We are playing a subathon starting tomorrow. We are going to be doing that in a healthy manner with limitations on how much time we're going to be streaming each day. And we're just going to be streaming every day until the time is elapsed. I may need some break days if something comes up or if I just need to catch up on sleep. But for the most part, we will be streaming every single day. Even when people are like actually going to bed and like having people entertain chat, or they have like a game that chat can play, or they're rerunning VODs. I'd rather be making original content for people rather than just leaving the stream up and saying like, yes, funnel your money into me as like a joke to keep the stream timer going, you know? Yes. Oh, Edge Runners. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is a masterpiece. I probably should have added that to my favorite animes. Oh well, too late for that. I do not like people who gatekeep spice tolerance. We're all in this together. A fellow spice fan is someone who can always improve. My spice tolerance was not great until like the last couple of years where I actively started trying to improve it. And now, like, sriracha is just like my go-to condiment. That's like my base level of what I want spice to be. One of my biggest pet peeves though, movie or TV characters that leave unfinished food or drink. You know that scene where they get together at like a cafe to discuss the big case, and then they make a sudden realization and they're like, oh, we need to go do this right now, and they leave behind like their meal just as it arrived, or like a full cup of coffee, and I'm like, no, you paid for that, finish your food. God, I cannot. I cannot. Yeah, Ice Thrasher. There are people who will be like, oh, oh, that spicy thing that you're eating, that's not spicy. You should have this other thing that's spicier. It's like, who cares? They're on their way, as long as they enjoy it. Like, let people enjoy the spice levels that are comfortable to them. Spice is spice. Like, just because you've, like, nuked your tongue over years of eating spicy food doesn't mean you get to get on your high horse because of your bad life decisions. So let's talk some shit about some anime. Japan Sings 2020 is awful. That show is just Final Destination, the anime. The first episode of that is a wild ride. I don't want to spoil too many of these things. It is ridiculous. It's the same director as Devilman Crybaby, which is an absolute masterpiece. But you run into issue. I was talking about this with Ditto the other day, in that the director has some very, very obvious things that he loves to incorporate, like rap scenes and scenes of a character running. And in Japan Sings 2020, you get an episode that features both of those. He just wears it on his sleeve. That show has a disgusting obsession with just killing off characters at a moment's notice in the most ridiculous fashions. It is hilarious, and I think we might want to do a watch party of that sometime and just talk shit about it. So Attack on Titan, I think, is a masterpiece until you get to the final season, which I think is garbage. I'm not going to elaborate. I just think they throw a lot of intelligent writing out the window for a lot of impulse decisions. Durarara, again, first season, amazing. All the other seasons, it's just a bunch of characters being assholes to each other for no reason. Seven Deadly Sins, I wish I could talk about this, but I don't want to spoil it. All I'm saying is that I stopped watching Seven Deadly Sins based on a certain thing that a character says in episode 97. To talk about this in the most generic way possible, basically someone is given an heirloom from a deceased lover, and another character is like, I could throw that out for you. Like the tone deafness that someone would suggest the idea, like moments after like an incredibly emotional scene happened, it's just like, I have never seen a character say something so tone deaf in an anime in my life. I just stopped. I paused the episode. Yeah, we can talk about that after stream, Anna. I forget if you were in the VC when I was complaining about it. I paused the episode, stopped watching it, removed it from my watched list on Netflix immediately. Did not finish it. Also, no worries, Jenny. Good luck getting your kid getting your kid to sleep. Words. Actually, another random show I just want to mention off the top of my head. Heavy Object is a very cool, like, military themed sci-fi show. No, it wasn't Cthulhu's. Again, we'll talk about it after stream. Funimation licensed Psyche K, one of my favorite comedy animes of all time. The English dub made by Funimation is amazing. Jerry Jewell is the English deadpan comedy king. He also voices Kodaka in Haganai. And he voices Psyche K in the English dub. Second season of Psyche K comes out. No English dub. Funimation isn't allowed to localize it. They got the first season on Blu-ray. They have a bunch of shorts that are sub-only on their Funimation streaming platform. Netflix licenses the third, like, half season. No dub still. What gives, Netflix? Are you preventing Funimation from localizing the show and dubbing it? Netflix then produces Psyche K Reawakened themselves and hires Bang Zoom to dub it. And although it has amazing actors, they have a very different delivery. Kyle McCarley voices Psyche K, and he comes off, instead of this deadpan, like sarcastic person, just comes off as this asshole who hates his friends. And I just could not watch it. I watched one episode and stopped. And I was discussing this with Ditto. They said the same about it. I'm like, yes, I'm not alone, because it was jarring, man. So yeah, fuck Netflix for that one. Yeah, Seven Deadly Sins is weird in that respect. On one hand, I was kind of like how honest they were with the horniness, but it's a bit much. Also, with the second season in particular, they start introducing power levels and became stupid. Because what was cool is when they started off, like all these characters had like god tier powers, and they just didn't talk about it. It's like they just swing an axe and like an entire forest gets leveled, and that was cool. And then the entire second season is like, all characters must be compared based on power levels. Give the pig a scouter. The pig is now relegated to reading off everyone's power levels for the rest of the show, and no one will talk about anything else whenever fighting is happening. Also, the animation just sucked after the second season of that. Anyway, Blue Reflection Ray. As I said before, the anime for Blue Reflection is awful. They didn't care about the source material. They just did their own thing. They ignore design motifs, the fragments, the crystallized emotions of characters used to look like these digital crystals. They just randomly changed them to look like lotus blossoms. When the magical girls would transform, everything would be covered in like vines and flowers. And it's like, that's a cool motif, but it's not the franchise's motif. It never returned in Second Light. It was just an anime thing. And instead of going with the cool synth with the piano and violin that the series is known for, that made the soundtracks like 10 out of 10, they went for a generic orchestral soundtrack. They also introduced an incredibly detestable character that relied upon the incredible writer of Second Light to completely turn them around. And it just really illustrates how it's the same thing that happens to like video game movie adaptations, where people just want their name on a project. They don't care what the project is or what they do with it. They just want it. They just want to put their name on it and have a thing out there. And it was abysmal. It never even got a Blu-ray release in Japan. It was so panned by everyone. It never got I think it eventually got a release from Funimation over here, but that's the only way you can get it on Blu-ray. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Cthulhu's. What was it? B Train? Yeah, B Train was an awful studio back in the day, but they made good shows despite that. People tolerated B Train animations. Dot Hack Sign succeeded based on its source material alone. I'm just quickly looking up Blue Reflection Ray on Anime News Network. I'm pretty sure it got a Blu-ray. No, it never did. Damn. But it got an English dub from Crunchyroll. I think that's why I got hopeful. Like back in May of last year. Yes, the soundtrack for Dot Hack Sign was amazing. Ava. I like the military and mecha aspects of Ava. I cannot stand all the psychological aspects. I'm not going to rant more about it because that is a whole other thing. Tokyo Ghoul. Love the first season. Dark and gritty. Final season. Amazing ideas. Seasons 2 and 3 were garbage. Season 2 was just moody, gritty, emo. Season 3 was just generic shonen. I really like stuff that they introduced in the last season of that. Kind of like Danmachi Season 3. Really surprised that those shows turned themselves around after disappointing middle seasons. Have not watched, I've not finished Danmachi Season 4. I know it's still technically airing. The second cour just started, but I need to get back on that. All right. So let's talk about my design. So I wanted to point out some things about my design here. And again, the artist of this design is the wonderful Nisei Joe. Check him out on Twitter. His art speaks for itself. It's great. I do have this wristband here. Let me move my model real quick so I can get you a better preview of that. This wristband does not have to be blue. It's just a dark blue because I like that color and I wanted it to contrast against the blue shirt. And I also wanted the hoodie to be a bit more unique. I thought of like putting something on the back of the hoodie, but text didn't feel right. I didn't have like a logo that I felt would be appropriate to put on the back of the shirt. So I opted for the wristband, and the wristband can be any color. I can color change it in VTube Studio. I have not set that up as a toggle. However, I do have a dark mode toggle, where certain elements of my design light up, such as the wristband and the blue sections of the hoodie toggles. If you are a subscriber, you've seen my sub badges are the wristband in various colors. And so that's where that comes from. It doesn't have to be wristband either. So it could be like a watch. If someone was like doing like a different design of me or like fan art or whatever, it could be like a watch, a choker, jewelry, or even like a banded tattoo on my arm or something like that. Or just like a classic, like one of those silicone wristbands. Yes, I literally have the toggles named dark mode and light mode. Gustavo in chat, hello. Yes, Teach. Now they're known as Sentai Filmworks. But yeah, like ADV Films, Geneon, all those classics. Why do you ask, Teach? What's the hubbub about ADV? But yeah, other fan art concepts is I kind of think of like the wristband being possibly interpreted as like a hidden blade from Assassin's Creed, like maybe a black gauntlet with like a blue blade or something like that, or like an Omni tool, like it could be like a glowing blue thing, like from Mass Effect, like the like either like a blue glowing like heads up display, or that turns into like a tech knife or something like that. I wanted to clarify something with respect to my design. There is the summer costume for Ren Amamiya, the protagonist of Persona 5. Very similar to this. He's got jeans, he's got a black shirt, and then he's got like a white button-up overshirt. Looks very similar to my design, especially with the hair and glasses. That was not an influence for this design at all. I started thinking of this design and like made it the motif of all the characters that I create in video games ever since like Castlevania Aria of Sorrow on the GBA, influenced by Soma Cruz, and then the hoodie I kind of lifted from Assassin's Creed. So those are my main inspirations, although I swapped the color palette because I just think the blue on black looks better than black on blue. Also, you may have noticed my Velcro shoes. Why does Ties have Velcro shoes? Does he not know how to tie knots? No, I know how to tie knots. It's just I'm not a morning person, and like anything that delays my morning routine just kills me on the inside. So it got to a point where if my shoes were loose or I needed to tie them at the beginning of a day, I'd be like, it would be the worst thing. So I just thought, Velcro shoes are still a thing. Why not just wear them? And so I wear Velcro shoes, and I, for some reason, wanted that to be reflected on my model. So there you go. Oh God, I don't like that, Becca. Yeah, no, loafers are good too. Now, something that I think a lot of you might have been waiting for. So I did mention earlier, I used to be known as the Tiger of Toronto. So who's that exactly? Well, let's just say, when I was younger, when I wasn't quite the helpful lad I am now, I may have been a bit more rough and tumble. I wasn't like involved in any crimes or anything per se. I wasn't like in a gang. You could call me sort of a fixer. I would mediate between some bad people to make sure nobody was causing trouble for both civilians and for the others. But that's neither here nor there. You might see this hoodie come back, but it's not necessary for the time being. But I thought I would show off what I looked like back in the day. I also have this cool thing I can do. Let's bump that up. There we go. So just to give you a look at the full design here, the full piece of art. And going back to what I was talking about earlier, so I reimagined the wristband design as a sapphire necklace with a black chain. So let's talk about that. So, with this design, instead of my natural green eyes, I'm wearing blue contacts, hence the lack of glasses. I mean, you don't want to get your glasses smashed if you're dealing with some surly crowds, right? I decided to go with a white tiger hoodie, you know, befitting the name of the Tiger of Toronto. You may have heard of the Dragon of Dojima, but me, I'm the Tiger of Toronto, or I was. One thing of note, if anyone to do fan art of this, note the tiger ears specifically. Tiger ears are more rounded. They don't necessarily have to be designed like this with the spots on them, but definitely make sure that they're rounded. That's the important thing. They're not sharp like cat ears. But yes, we've got the sapphire necklace with the black chain. When you see more of this later, you know, once I bring out the necklace and the tiger hoodie back, I will just be, you know, showing my natural green eyes and glasses. That is the final design. Again, this is me when I was younger, and this piece was done by my Rig Mama Slum Baby. I wanted her to be part of my art. No, I am a human, for realsies. I am a human. It's just a tiger hoodie. It's a title, my dude. It's because I'm fierce. All right, people called me that. Literally. The inspiration for this design actually comes from a fellow streamer who streams on YouTube by the name of Ivi. Made a bit of my name for myself playing Fall Guys during their community gaming streams. I would end up in 1v1s in Slime Climb, where I'd finish and one other person would finish. And then it got to a point where Ivi would provide color commentary for all of us, and started coming up with team names. One of our community members by the name of Musketeer du Roi suggested the Tiger King, and so they started cheering for the Tigers. And then I thought to myself, you know what, that's actually really cool. Like, originally I was going to call my fans Yujins, named after Natsume Yujincho, because you're my friends, but you're also weird, you know, not necessarily humans, different people of all kinds. But that's also very similar to a certain website in terms of pronunciation. So I want to be careful with that. So we decided to go with the Tigers, but then I started thinking, wait, what eye color do white tigers have? Oh, they have blue and green eyes, and my design is white, black, and blue. Funny that. So that's basically how this materialized, and how I came up with my 2.0 design. I am going to mention, this design is going to be seen in a model sooner than later, courtesy of our friend Didodobi. I happen to win a Live2D model from their subathon giveaway, and he has been very generous with allowing me to name like all the things we're going to do with that model. You're not going to see for a while. We're not going to put any pressure on old Ditto here, but it's coming sooner than I ever expected. I didn't think we would see this become a thing for literal years, because VTubing be expensive. But yeah, like I literally just got this model, and like within a month. Skell, thank you for resubbing, dude. Appreciate you. But like within a month, that giveaway happened. And yeah, it's a weird feeling. But at the end of the day, without this design that I'm using right now, this 2.0 design would not exist. So this design walked so that the Tiger of Toronto could run. Also, we will be revising this design a little bit for the final. So look forward to, you know, some of those future toggles. I'm catching up with the chat, by the way, because I was focusing on talking about this all in one shot. But Gustavo, I mean, if you want to get hit up by this guy, well, I mean, I have a mean golf swing, is what I mean. So, yeah, don't be coming at me like that. But feel free to thirst appropriately. Oh, Kana, is something happening with your power? Or are you just still online despite everything going on? Yes, Ice Thrasher, we were talking about Natsume Yujincho earlier. And yes, Ditto is a good boy. Thank you, Raptor. Okay. Good to hear it. Good to hear it. All right. Let's start wrapping things up here. So we do have emotes. You know what? Hold on. Before we move on, let's give another shout out for Plum. And if someone could give a shout out for Tommy once that's done, that would be appreciated as well. So I wanted to showcase my emotes from Tommy again. Like, I know you guys can see them, but you know, Tommy's a friend, and I want to showcase her amazing artwork. And she's done some great things for both Kana and I in terms of emotes. Kana's head pat emote, like, absolutely melted my heart when I saw it. Cannot get enough of it. Just gonna make sure that's in plain view. Yeah. Highly recommend Tommy for any of your art needs. I'm blessed for the artwork that I've received both from friends and what I've commissioned so far. It's all been amazing. Nisei Joe, Slum, Tommy, the friends I've made along the way, you know, other streamers like Evi, communities that I've been a part of, again, both Slum and Evi, really made last year something to remember for me. And I just want to never forget that, you know? So again, some more word vomit here. So these are my ambitions. These are things that we are planning. I've got some fun goals, and I've got some business goals. So we've achieved a bunch of these fun ones already. We made a lot of friends, but we can always make more. More collabs for the future. Hell yeah, let's do it. Always want to help more people with their lore, debuts, VTuber tech. If you ever have questions, like, feel free to ask me on stream. If it's something I can answer there, you know, that's great. I do have a Discord server with a channel called Consultation Corner. You can feel free to join that. I am gonna quickly grab the link and paste that in chat. That is not the correct screen name. That is not Tommy. Do not follow that account. I believe there is a underscore. Yes. Discord server is here. Consultation Corner is there for any feedback that you need. Yeah, if you could just look up Tommy's page before you do that shout out again, please. So again, we've already kind of accomplished establishing a VTuber community with a drop-in Discord server. Most streams, my friends can drop into my stream at any point and commentate on gameplay. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. I do want to find a... Actually, no, I skipped over this. Sorry. I do want to find friends who enjoy co-commentating on gameplay. Because, like, don't get me wrong, I love collabs. Yeah, there you go. But if we could do the proper shoutouts as well in a moment, because we have the shoutout overlay disabled for now. I love having people drop by. I want more people who are just cool, like co-commentating on stuff while I screen share in Discord. Leading up to VTubing, I actually practiced this with Raptor, where we'd use the remote play function on PlayStation. We played through the entirety of Yakuza Like a Dragon together, as well as some other games. I forget which one specifically, but that's the one that I remember the fondest. Obviously, I want to foster a friendly community, like not just to each other, but like we kind of do this with Evi's stream. We've done this with, thank you, you got it that time. We've done this with Tommy before, actually, where I'll just come by my Discord and be like, hey, let's go all hang out in this person's chat and just share the love, you know. And it's just always nice introducing some of my favorite streamers and friends to other people and just be like, let's just hang out and have a good time with this person. Last night in particular was a night to remember. We did some Fall Guys, and I think we played like 15 games, and I won all but 3 of them. Ditto won 2, and then Jones won 1. I think that was the record. Unfortunately, that VOD got taken down because they ended up watching a clip of recent like World Cup clip, and that entire VOD has been taken down as a copyright claim. Oh, that feels bad, man. That feels so bad. But it was an amazing stream. Evi is wonderful. You know what? I'm gonna give a shout out to Evi on Twitch. They do not stream on Twitch because the location, the servers in their region are awful. Oh, I can't. It hasn't been long enough. But definitely check out Evi on. You know what? Here, hold on. I'm gonna get their YouTube channel. Evi_X. Thank you, Raptor. Definitely give them a follow. If you like ASMR content and if you like singing, they are phenomenal at both. They like to introduce elements of singing into their role plays. And the first video of theirs I ever saw, like I honestly felt like I was watching like a radio drama. It was like the production quality is like beyond top tier. It's amazing. So getting back to this slide here, I would love to take vocal lessons sometime. I do like my voice, unlike many VTubers. I do not like my singing voice. I'd like to get more confident at that and release some song covers. There may be a producer on a previous slide or a couple that I would love to have a song composed by someday. But for the immediate future, I want to get my own custom BGM for stream by a different composer. But you know, it's hard to not look at the corporate VTubers and be like, man, what if I had a cover like an original song like one of them, or like an actual like composition and stuff like that? Like that would be amazing. But I don't sing super well. Yeah, my accents and imitations are very poor. I just do what I can with my own voice. I think my voice is great. You know, I sing like one song really well. I did actually sing that recently for Becca and Ditto, and they liked it. So that gave me some confidence. But it's still something I don't have enough confidence in, and would like to be better at that. ASMR streams. You know what's going to happen. So on my throne right now, I am trying to fund two things: a new pair of headphones that don't hurt my ears when I stream for long periods of time, and a mic boom, because I can't use the stereo mode on this microphone right now with it being as it is. It's also blocking like a sixth of my screen. Well, maybe I can do that for you in VC after Cthulhu's. Maybe we can have a bit of an after party if I'm not too shaken up. Just remind me. Again, we can also talk about Seven Deadly Sins and rant about that shit afterward as well. My throne page is here. Keep in mind, though, I am going to be starting up a subathon tomorrow. I didn't really want to mention this earlier because it didn't really feel opportune at the time, but feel free to save any... Okay, Anna, I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay, so I guess don't wait until tomorrow. Love you too, Ann. Thank you. Appreciate you. You know what? Hold on. You know what? Let's try this live.
Okay, so I believe this is the stereo mode. So this, I think, should be more on the left side of things. And then this should be more on the right side of things. No, I can eventually tune this so it'll be a bit better sounding, but once I can position this mic into a better position, I think we can start doing some ASMR streams and start getting some interesting vibes happening, if you know what I mean.
So yeah, the option is there. So yeah, for the record, the Blue Yeti mic is great. The Blue Compass stand, do not buy it. It is awful. It does not have enough tension. It floats. If you try to move it to certain positions, it will just float back to the original position. It sucks. Huge regrets on that purchase. And if you buy the Blue Yeti caster bundle, you don't get the actual like desk stand, so you have to buy it separately on like Etsy. So yeah, because like people 3D printed them because it's that much of a problem. It's garbage for me. Ice. So that's why I want the Rode PSA 1, because that is, as far as I'm aware, like one of the top of the line standards when it comes to mic booms. Like I cannot move the mic boom, and I've tightened this thing like as tight as it can possibly go. Like I've tried fiddling with this for, like I've used tools to tighten it because it wasn't working, and it still just does not give it enough tension. Anyway, in the future, I would like to commentate on gaming news. We've already done some live gaming events like the Game Awards, Gamescom. Those are hella fun. I am especially proud of the last stream that we did. Again, some of my favorite jokes that I've ever told have been there. Gustavo, I will be re-enabling the boyfriend redeem once the debut is over, the boyfriend voice redeem. Also, tonight, if I can get it done in time, we do have the Twitch integrated throwing system as well. And during the subathon, we will be setting up channel point redeems as some of our goals. A lot of the very early ones will be setting up at least 10 different redeems, and you get to choose them. So come up with some good ideas that you're going to enjoy redeeming. Hopefully things that are more on the fun side and not just me saying dumb shit. Sometime I would like to do a weekly talk show more focused on like game news rather than interviews. There are already enough like VTuber interview shows. I feel like that's kind of old hat at this point. I want to do something different. There aren't enough VTubers that just talk about games, but I also need to find people who have just as much of an interest about general gaming as I do. I think most of my friends are very focused on their particular games that they play. I'm always looking up, like, every day, many different websites for games, game news, what's going on in the industry at a given time, any drama that's happening, complicated legal situations, stuff like that. And I like being able to talk about that stuff with people, so that's something to plan for the future. I'd love to do some watch-alongs, again, like the game shows we've done, as well as media share streams, where you guys just suggest media and I like react to those. Again, trash Netflix and chill. I think it would be really fun to watch Japan Sinks 2020 or High Rise Invasion or Seven Seeds. Yeah, no, Indigo, I will veto some of those. Like that I'm not going to entertain that. Silent in chat. Hello, buddy. Thanks for coming by. I'd love to hang out in VR chat sometimes. I do have my old Vroid model converted into VR chat, so that is an option. Hey, Silent. I'm proud of you too, buddy. Sure. We could do my only concern about that, Becca, is I don't want to make it a redeem because people might suggest inappropriate words for me to say in a different language. Yes, that is true, Cthulhu's, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be on Netflix. I mean, it would be on Discord. But yes, I do have my model in VR chat. Eventually, like, the end goal, since I kind of have all my Live2D model stuff worked out now, thanks to Ditto. Also, sorry, I want to take a step back really quick, and I just want to again highlight, like, I just feel bad for not talking about it enough, but like, Nisejo's art is like awesome, but I cannot get enough of Slum's rig, and I hope you're all appreciating that. Like, if there's, I hate to compare, but definitely the thing that I'm happy about most is the way that Slum has captured my attitude with this rig. Like, she outdid herself in so many ways. I cannot say enough good things about Slum, both as a person, a friend, and as a talented rigger. Anyway, sorry. Getting back to my focus here, down the road, I would like to get my own fancy 3D model so I can do proper 3D streams with like Elite Motion Tracker with like hand tracking and stuff. But like some of those models like range from like $2,000 to $5,000. So that's when I hit the big leagues, and that's going to be a long time. Let's not talk about that. That could throw us. So I want to do more spice related streams. So I have Fire Noodle Challenge here. We've already kind of done that, been there, done that. I would like to do a Hot One stream, but again, getting all those hot sauces is very expensive. One of our goals for the subathon will be to try a very spicy sauce. And then one of the end goals is going to be another even spicier one, about equivalent to the Paki One Chip Challenge, which I have not been able to find locally. And I don't want to spend $30 on a single tortilla chip just for a joke, right? I'd have to be making a lot of money to make that worthwhile, which sounds shitty to say, but that's just the reality of the situation. I'd love to do a Dungeon Crawler stream, particularly Etchery and Odyssey, with party members named after chatters. And like maybe like every stream we would just rename them, just because those would be very long playthroughs. So just keeping the names like as individual people for the entire playthrough I think would be rough. I'd love to go to a con someday, either to do a panel or just to meet people. I'd love to meet some of you in person someday. But I'm also kind of working on myself at the same time, working out, getting fit. So it's going to be a while before I venture out. I also, I didn't really list this as a fear, but I'm also kind of an aversion to traveling. But it's also because I haven't done a whole lot of it, especially on my own. So, it's whatever. Receiving fan art is still like one of my favorite kinds of things. And I can only say that I'd love to receive more. Just some of the fan art you see people receiving on Twitter, it's just like, man. And then you get some yourself, and it's like, oh man. And then you get NSFW fan art, it's like, oh. Oh, didn't expect that. Not that I've received that yet. I've had to commission that, but you know. Another like ultimate goal would be to stumble across clips of myself on YouTube that I did not clip myself. This is not encouraging one of you to do that. I mean, like if I showed up on like a random clip channel somewhere, that would be kind of amazing. Oh no. Thank you, Electra. Good to see you. Yeah, and I feel like a Canadian con might be the easiest one, something like Anime North or something like that. But that's a concern over the next year or two. So this is going to be a little sappy, but I'd love to become somebody's favorite content creator. Again, nothing against any of you guys. I love you all, but at the same time, you know me. Like, I'd love to just see random comment somewhere for someone I barely even know that just like, yeah, Ty's is my favorite. I think I like his stuff. That'd be amazing. Also, cameo, like having a cameo in like a video game or animation, like either my voice or my design. Like if you just saw the Tiger of Toronto in like the background of a game, that would be something else. Now, business goals. I'd like to try and reach 1,000 followers by the end of the year. I don't know if that's realistically feasible, but I'd like to gun for it, especially now that we have this model. I feel like people might care about my thumbnails more on Twitch. I also want to get into ASMR content as well. I think that might help. Just branch out more. I don't have faith in TikTok and Twitter helping me. I can hear that in Mod's voice. On the note of the ASMR channel, if that does pop off, I would love to get like a YouTube subscriber plaque. I don't know. Like, I know it's just a material good, but it's just something about that. It's like the coolest goddamn thing. Like, even if Twitch had like, oh, you became like Twitch partner and you reached a certain milestone, so we sent you like a purple hoodie or something like that, that would be really cool. I think Twitch used to do that like when they were growing early on, but I don't think they do that anymore. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to necessarily offer my services as a voice actor per se. Like a small role in people's projects is one thing. But I want to focus mostly on my ASMR content first. Appreciate you too, Mod. All you. Now, what I'm on my likes and dislikes slide, I was originally going to mention my favorite soda flavors, but I actually don't drink soda anymore. I drink water with like flavor enhancers. I'm particularly partial to a particular brand. I'm not going to name it on stream, just in case things change in the future. But I would like to get my own drink flavor. I've already kind of planned out a couple options. And I would like to get a cup with my design on it. And that's something that I want to work on. Getting an epic creator code would be cool as well, but I do need to reach 1,000 followers on one social media platform first before that's going to be possible. So we're going to work on that. But those are things that I would not mind shilling. The last one is kind of a joke. So Jack Links is a jerky brand. They have this ambassador section of their Canadian website that's like a bunch of sports people and like sports bloggers. And I was thinking like, ooh, what if I could get sponsored by Jack Links and get jerky for shilling their product? Like I mean, guys got the meats. Just saying. I mean, kind of you can, but I mean, I don't think I've told you about my drink idea, Kana. I think you'll get a kick out of it. We'll talk about that after stream. I don't want to talk about it publicly. All right, people. So moving on. So as we talked about, my fan name are the Tigers. I'm spelling it like that. Eventually, I want to branch out to have kind of like a social club because I don't want this to be treated as like a gang. Like the Tigers kind of sound like a gang, and I want it to be more like a club, something friendly sounding, right? I don't want to have like a bar because there are so many. I mean, we have our own, beloved Gustavo here, who's got his own bar. I don't want to get on his turf, but I feel like if I had like a social club or like a lounge, that'd be really cool. And I've been thinking of calling that the Tiger's Den. I mean, that's what I've called my Discord server, but the actual establishment would be a little underground. It would actually just be spelled normally, like the Tiger's Den, I don't know if den is an appropriate term for like a social club and stuff like that. Like it would have a bar in it, but it's mostly just a place to hang out and socialize with other members of the club, Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've never been part of gang. I was only ever a fixer. There's a very big difference. I solve things for people. I never committed any crimes. But as far as fan names are concerned, once upon a time, I did consider, because of my affection for jerky, to call my fans jerks. So be glad I didn't go with that. Just saying. Now, my Twitter tags. I do have a Twitter account. Feel free to follow. Not an obligation, obviously, but it is there. Sorry for the awkward silence. I had to concentrate while typing that out. Did I type 2 colons? Oh, well, it still got the URL anyway. Good job, Brain. All right. So I have a Ties Art and Ties NSW tags. I decided to keep them very straightforward. Please do not use any of my other hashtags alongside Ties NSW. I don't want NSFW stuff showing up in the other tags, with the exception of the first one that I commissioned. Future NSFW stuff will exclusively be under that hashtag. I made one exception, and that will be the only one. I do have a tag with my love, my boyfriend Kana. So if you do art of the two of us together, you can use the Tiger and Bunny hashtag. I may come up with other hashtags down the line, but for the time being, this is what we're sticking with. And if for any reason you decide to make NSFW fan art of myself that involves another person, make sure that the other people involved are okay with that before you involve them in anything like that. No, Ice Thrasher, they're still the Tigers. They're the members of the Tigers Social Club. Well, the Tigers Den is to be determined. We're gonna work on like my next stream background is going to be focusing on what the Tiger's Den will look like, and maybe like an apartment like above the Tiger's Den, or like an outside of the den. We'll figure it out. But that's not a bad idea. I might note that down. Denizens is clever. Kind of reminds me of the den from God Eater, now that I think about it. Yeah, we need to workshop it. But thanks for the idea. You are indeed a clever guy, Ice. I always appreciate your insight. So my Oshi marks, or my emojis. Obviously, being the Tiger of Toronto, we've got the tiger and the Canadian flag. And because I'm a white tiger, I tend to use the white heart to refer to things. Also, sorry, I just realized I didn't acknowledge Lecter's comment from before. Yes. Sorry, you did actually bring something I glossed over. I was thinking of making a Twitch team. You do have to become a partner before you can do that. I feel like I'd have to be a bit... my reach would have to be bigger, and I'm not sure if I would be so self-centered as to call my Twitch team the Tigers and have other people go under that umbrella. But that's something that I'd like to do someday, just to try and give people some more exposure. And I'm not sure if I'm looking for a 3D room, but feel free to send me that reference, Lecture. I would appreciate it. Yeah, no worries. Sorry, it keeping up with chat sometimes is a struggle for me. I saw the message, and then when you posted again, I realized, oh wait, yeah, no, Lecture had a comment and I didn't go back to it. So additional methods of support. So I've had this issue where I feel like not everyone was aware that I had a Throne page or a tip page. So I'm just gonna reference those real quick in chat, as well as a link to my Discord server. If you are not currently a member, you do have to be 18 or older to participate. You can join the server and look, but if you want to chat or join a voice chat, you will have to be 18 or over and react to a role react in the appropriate channel to do so. Well, the thing is, for my throne, I only want gear for to support my streams. I am going to be saving up for a stream deck down the road, but like my immediate thing is the mic stand, headset, and then the BGM that I plan on commissioning from a particular composer that I'm not going to talk about until I've actually reached out to them and started the commission. My tip page, again, there's no obligation to tip through the Streamlabs tip page. I mean, bits and subs and stuff are fine. Again, throne gifts immediately help, so those are honestly appreciated more right now while I'm small time. But later on, I think that'll be a bigger deal for me. And then Discord is here. And then why not? I'll just post all my links here. We got Twitter, and then we've got my card. Feel free to follow any of my YouTube channels as well, by the way. I have a primary channel that I upload clips to. I have a VODs channel, and then I have my ASMR channel, and that's the one that you're going to want to keep an eye out for. I will be promoting the ASMR channel more in the future once I actually have some content on there. I need to upload some of my old clips to YouTube still. I've currently got them all on my TikTok, which I should also probably link. Sure, thank you, Electra. But I need to upload my backlog of clips and VODs to YouTube, and then upload my 2 script reads that I have so far to my ASMR channel, and then start working on my first actual ASMR video. I also have a VTuber page, which is basically a social network for VTubers. I don't have too many friends who use that, so I'd like to see more of you on VTuber, honestly, so that we can, you know, link to each other as friends and family, and grow together. Yeah. Now, I think for the most part, that is the end of my debut slides. So I wanted to talk about what we're doing with the subathon. So this will be starting tomorrow, again around 4 p.m. Eastern. About the same time. Might start a little later. I'm not so concerned about starting it on time. So again, we're going to be funding some stream improvements, like again the new mic boom, the BGM for stream, and it will also be used in like my ASMR uploads for like my outro and whatnot. Anything beyond the goals that we have will be put toward new equipment or assets, such as the headset, stream deck, which I've removed from my throne temporarily because that's low priority for me right now, and more emotes, because I think we are getting close to the last emote slot, and follower emotes as well. I feel obligated to mod, because it feels like the right thing to do. So I'm gonna say yes, but I haven't set up anything for that. I've not set up the subathon timer. We were gonna start at 24 hours, so I'll just add those subs to the timer immediately. I feel like it's only fair because I felt guilty early when people started like throwing all the subs, and like not mentioning at that point, because I didn't want to get a word in edgewise to start doing self promo right at the start of the. No, it's not a derail. It's a very important question. And no worries, feel free. Yeah, we'll need to do some work after Stream Raptor. But yes, my intent is to roll these forward. We can talk about it afterward, but I think it's the right thing to do. for anyone who contributed today, to have that count. So anyway, so starting tomorrow, weekends and Mondays, we will be trying to stream on an average of like 8 to 12 hours, unless I really need to catch up on sleep and recover. Trying my best to start around 4 p.m. We will be streaming on weekdays as well. Tuesday through Friday. I can only stream like after 11 though, because my shifts end around 10. And I need some time to myself. And we're going to be capping those at like 4 hours. Like even then that might be pushing it. We might average like 3, but we'll see. And we'll just chip away at that time until it's exhausted. We'll be starting with 24 hours. Each sub will add 1 hour, 250 bits, $2 USD, either a donation through Streamlabs or every $2 USD on Throne will be equivalent to 1 sub. I want to mention this for my Canadian friends especially. So you will, I believe you do contribute to Throne in Canadian, and then it converts it, because I think earlier Anna contributed 25 Canadian, but when we look at Throne, it converts it to 1865. I think that's how it works. So we would count that as $18, if that sounds fair. Just because I don't know how better to count that. Because I don't think there's anywhere in Throne I can go to see the original donation amount in the original currency that Anna had paid in. So yeah. Is that a confirmation or is that a realization, Anna? Let me confirm this right now while we're live, while we're here. Huh. Okay. Yeah, okay. So then we'll count that as 18 then. All right. So, what are we doing with the subathon? So looking at our goals already, like if we just hold on, RTX is going ham. Just give me a second. So if we spitball this, I think we have 17 from today, and then we've received I'm just tallying up the bits real quick. So 2,000. 2,100. Divide that by 250. That's 8. And then 18 is 9. So that's 17 plus 9 plus. So thus far, we're sitting at about 34 subs worth. Yeah, sure, by all means, Electra. The subathon slides are under my channel discussion in the Discord as well, so you can look there. I'm not gonna talk about the slideshow. So we're currently at about 34. And just for my sanity's sake, since we're already kind of at this point, I'm going to be keeping track of all these manually, because I'll be honest, I haven't looked too far into the subathon timer yet. Very, very professional affair, I know. So if we go here and here. Well. Okay, I'm using my here, hold on. Icy, welcome in. Good to see you. I'm not sure how I feel about stream loot, to be honest. I don't want to have too many like extra things. So I guess the next goal would then be 40. And so the next one would therefore be cat orders pizza. All right, so what have we earned so far? We're not going to hash out these details today on stream because I don't want to. This is going to be a medium. I don't. We'll see. Okay, so thus far we've already unlocked. So 3 channel port redeems we're going to have for the remainder of the subathon. I guess we're going to play Gardic Phone at some point. We're actually going to be doing, well, actually we've unlocked all 10 of the redeems that we can just set up once there's enough people around tomorrow to choose those. We can also play any game from any of my libraries. You can find those links. I'm not sure if they're on my Twitch page. Hold on. I know they're on my YouTube. Yes, I do have under my miscellaneous section. I do have my Steam library and my PlayStation and Xbox 360 libraries there. I don't really have a lot of games for the Switch, so I don't feel a need to list that. I mean, I have that hot sauce ready to go. I already bought it. I don't know what I'm gonna put it on. I could put it on pizza. If we make it to that goal, we certainly could. I haven't tasted the hot sauce, so that it's gonna be a live reaction. I have given it a sniff and it smells awful. Which is actually going back to the whole spice thing, pet peeve that I like. I don't like spice that's just for the sake of spice. Like, your hot sauces have to taste good, man. Like, I'm gonna put that under the spice gatekeeping. There are some people that are just like, I just want spice, but I don't care about flavor. It's like, yeah, come on, man. Oh, stream loots. Okay. If you could DM me that as well, Lectra, I'd appreciate that. Indigo, we're gonna be probably ordering that from Domino's, so it'll be based on what toppings they have. We may choose a different local place, but Domino's is generally my favorite. It might be an excuse to try a different sauce, because honestly, I've been wanting to try a different sauce from Domino's. Because I always get their default sauce with like extra sauce. It's so good. It was actually under one of my likes on my likes and dislikes slide is I love Domino's pizza sauce. It's so good. That's fair. I see. Like, some of the Takis flavors are strange, but I really like the chili and lime. Okay. So I guess we're also gonna have to set up those sound alerts to play a game of chat's choice. I did suggest Resident Evil 2 as the horror game. But again, you guys can suggest any other horror game. Ideally one that's free to play. I don't want to have to spend money when we're trying to earn money, you know? Resident Evil 2 I do own. Otherwise, I'd want the horror game to be free to play. Assuming it's a horror game, you guys might choose some other garbage from my library and just be like, yeah, play this weird game while we jump scare you. And while I will enable the sound alerts via channel points, I will also have an option for them to be done through bits if you would like to. I don't think I would count those bits toward the subathon goals, however. So just keep that in mind. I think that would be too difficult to keep track of. I haven't messed around with those with extensions that use bits, and so I don't know if that would show up in my activity feed or not, which is how I'm going to be tracking most of this. So yes, I think that's where we stand on this. Yeah, 45. Chat will be able to pick any game again. We've got that particularly spicy hot sauce. For reference, the spicy thing I've probably eaten so far is the 2 times spicy Samyang Buldak, aka the hot chicken flavor ramen, and that is equivalent to 8,808 Scoville units. So this hot sauce that we are suggesting trying is basically 20 times spicier. Nice, mod. And this other hot sauce, for reference, that is basically equivalent to the one chip challenge. That is 178 times spicier. Thank you, Marty. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, there's a Wikipedia article on the Scoville scale. All right, so other goals. I'd like to do a challenge run of a game. Elden Ring is an easy go-to because of all the mods for like randomizer runs and stuff. I do have that on PC now. I also suggested a Nuzlocke run of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I think that would be really funny because of how punishing that game can be for no good reason. Question is, will we even make it to the Matador, and should we even challenge the Matador? Yeah, why not, man? David busted a gut laughing at that idea when I mentioned it to him. Like, I just completely spitballed that off the cuff, because like Elden Ring was the only one I had as a suggestion, and I just sort of suggested like, yeah, I could do like a Nocturne Nuzlocke. It's like, that is so funny. So 60 subs, we would just do an entire day, probably a weekend day of like community games. So, you know, your Fall Guys, Fortnite, stuff like that, where we play with chatters. We might do that anyway. My plan is for each day is to vote like before the next day. Should we start with something multiplayer or single player, and then try and narrow that down with the stuff we have discussed on my Discord server so far. Fall Guys and Sonic Unleashed are the most popular picks, followed by Sonic Frontiers and Fortnite, Bayonetta, Sea of Thieves, Gunfire Reborn, Katamari Reroll, Gravity Rush, Akiba's Trip, Code Vein, Dark Cloud, and ToeJam and Earl Back in the Groove. I do want to do Dark Cloud sooner than later because I think both Mod and Gustavo really dig that game, and so do I. It's one of my favorites from the PS2. Yes, Electra, Sonic Unleashed. It's one of my favorites, actually. So I think tomorrow what we're going to start with is either Sonic Unleashed or Fall Guys, depending on whether you guys choose multiplayer or single player. In fact, we could even do that poll right now. Okay, manage poll, create. And we'll leave that going for 10 minutes. Well, I have not touched Frontiers yet. I do have it. Yeah, no, I agree, Lectra. There's a lot to love about it. Like, people complain about the Werehog gameplay, but it's just like a surprisingly good adaptation of God of War's mechanics. It's just that most people would use their skills on other things instead of improving their combo capabilities, and the combos become critical later when you get enemies that can dodge your attacks and whatnot. So that's the main reason why people just hated the combat of Sonic Unleashed, because it does not explain that. But that's like incredibly critical to that game. Sonic Unleashed was on 360 and PS3. There's some other games that I like to play just because I like them, like Sonic Lost World, Dragon's Dogma, and again, Resident Evil 2 we might do as the scary game. Unleashed did not have a PC. No, that one didn't have a PC release. Generations did. Generations was the first Sonic game on PC, or Sonic 3D. Ignoring... there was a Wii version of Unleashed, but it was very different because they focused more on the combat with the Werehog and using the Wiimotes for that. At 65 subs, we'll do a playthrough of Deltarune chapters 1 and 2, and I will be doing silly voices. People are encouraged to join me in VC and pick a character to voice. Otherwise, I will do all the voices myself, and we might have to take breaks. So that is up to people to participate with that one. It is purely voluntary, though. 70 subs will be a rage game, something like Getting Over It or Jump King, or an old school hard game like we could do Mega Man 2 or Mega Man 9. We could do Hardcore Uprising, which is one of my personal favorites for the 360. If we hit 75 subs, we would do a 24-hour stream on the following Saturday. That will still chip away at the timer. I would just be doing that as a 24-hour stream, and I would not be doing any additional streams on the Sunday. So I would do 24 hours Saturday through till Sunday, and then we would not stream again until Monday at 4 p.m. At 80 subs, we would do a stupid food stream. Sin, Mod, and I have a secret group chat where we spent like 5 hours one night in Slum server, oddly enough, just sharing stuff from the We Want Plate subreddit and just talking mad shit about it. Just think about chocolate hands and don't worry about it. There's also literally our stupid foods, so we might do a thing where we look at some of those like TikTok videos. Like I saw one recently of like this dumb influencer just rolling like a wine glass in some ice cream, and then they roll it in like some sprinkles, and then they were saying, oh, now you make a milkshake, but then they just dolloped more ice cream into the wine glass, so you had vanilla ice cream just in a wine glass coated with vanilla ice cream and sprinkles that would just melt and go all over the place. Like, it made me so upset watching that. And of course they're like, oh, that's so creative, that's so cool, oh, it's so good. I think the story was the same lecture, but the gameplay was definitely a bit different. Depression meals is another one. 90 subs would be a Discord movie night. I'm going to suggest either Summer Wars or Bell, or we could watch the first season of Natsume Yujincho together. We could watch that either dubbed or subbed, because they Natsume did recently get a English dub courtesy of Crunchyroll. So we could certainly watch that together. But those are my personal picks. We could also do one of the cursed ones. If we do Japan Sinks 2020, Seven Seeds, or High Rise Invasion, we will be talking over that and we will be talking shit. So be aware of that. 95 subs, chat picks an art redeem. We have many artist friends that have channel redeems. I'm not spending money on this, just to be clear, but we will pick something memey or cursed, and we will redeem that from one of our friends, and they will have to draw this for us and post it on Twitter, and it will be embarrassing. At 100 subs, we will do a Ring Fit stream. Again, we are going to put limits on this. I might have to max out the difficulty to 30 because I do play Ring Fit as part of my exercise routine. So I've leveled up fairly strong for the part in the game that I'm at. So we would probably need to crank up the difficulty to max. And we would probably cap that at like 2 hours of gameplay. And we would just play through like where I left off in the story. We might do something where we have you guys choose the exercises for the turn-based battles rather than just doing the ones that I'm comfortable with for variety's sake. But yeah, I want to make sure that we're doing that in a safe and healthy environment. Now, at the top right corner, I want to draw your attention to the fact that I do need more ideas or other games that you guys would want me to see. We will have to vote on those games though, because I want to make sure that people actually, like, more than one person wants to see them. So if someone suggests a game, someone react to that, comment if you like it, and more reactions we have, that means more votes. And that's just how we'll handle that casually. And please feel free to suggest more goal rewards, because I do want to have an upper limit of 175 subs to afford all the things that I want, that I'm working toward right now. Hence the crazy hot sauce at the end here. The only goals that I've really hashed out between 100 and 175 is at 125. We will permanently halve the cost of the boyfriend voice redeem. Currently it's 5,000 Tiger Toonies, because I know some of you have lots and lots of points. And we need to chip away at that somehow. But if we reach that goal, we will reduce that prematurely. I was going to do that eventually anyway, but that will make it happen earlier and on a permanent basis. And then at 150 subs, we'll do an entire stream with the ASMR voice.
And so you can get a little bit of, a few hours of this kind of experience.
It would probably be on a weeknight, so I don't have to do that for like more than 4 hours. And I believe that is the end of our slide here, our slideshow. So again, I'll be tweeting these out so that during the subathon stream I can pin the subathon goals and whatnot. And again, we're manually keeping track of it at the top right corner. Tomorrow we'll set up the timer, keeping in mind the subs that we've already accrued so far. Yeah, and I think we are good with that. So let me just hide this slide again. I also need to share Slum's artwork on Twitter and post my updated character sheet and bio on there. I also want to record a channel trailer, also as a model debut for people who weren't able to catch the stream. So thus far, it seems like we're going to be starting off with some multiplayer. We'll probably do Fall Guys for like 3 to 4 hours. I might warm up with some solos before involving other people, but I do want to play with either some people in VC or members from chat. And then after we've done like 3 to 4 hours of Fall Guys, we will do another vote to either keep going with Fall Guys, go to another multiplayer game, or switch to a single player game, which will most likely... The ones that I want to focus on first are most likely going to be Sonic Unleashed, and then Dark Cloud after that. And then I also wanted to get to Sonic Frontiers and Gravity Rush sooner than later. But I think Code Vein also has some popularity there, and it would be fun to do more Sea of Thieves on stream for sure. Yeah, lecture. That's always a problem for people. For some people, but most of my audience does appreciate that. So, I mean, we're gonna do it anyway. But I mean, we will be indicating in the title of that stream, like what's going on. So I think what we're gonna do now. We've had kind of waiting in the wings, actually. We're going to be switching over to Resident Evil Village, and we're going to start our playthrough of that. We are going to do this with a twist. Sorry, I'm wiping my nose again. So basically, as we play Resident Evil Village, if Kana reacts to something with his VTuber model or with his voice, you guys are going to need to play referee on this. But if Kana reacts to something spooky, I am going to take a drink. If I react to something in Resident Evil Village, I will take 2 drinks. So we are starting off with Fall Guys tomorrow. Multiplayer starts. Thank you, Electra. Nepcali, go in chat. Hello, buddy. Good to see you, my dude. I know, since some people missed the very beginning, I'm just going to quickly show off my toggles and whatnot again, just before we end the debut portion here. So, I've got some flexibility in my knee joints, my kneesies. I can do a bit of a presentation pose with my arm here. I can get a bit emotional. I can take off my glasses, which is an acquired taste, obviously. Yeah, they do. They sure do. And I got my hoodie, of course. And again, a detail I like to mention is that I actually made the hoodie shadow myself. I just took the hoodie, shrunk it down a little bit, colored it black, and then moved it down a layer. And then Slim was just like, sure, I'll just use that. Just like, all right. Now, Raptor. Oh, and also, we also have dark mode. Where both my wristband and the hoodie toggles glow. And I also have that set up so that it will change based on the either game or a particular background. Like, for example, let's do this for funsies. Let's load up one of my backgrounds here. Oh, it's a dark and stormy night, guys. And I think it's this one. Yeah. Oh, this is dark mode, Russell. But I really like how the lighting effect reacts to even like the lightning in the background. It's very cool. It's very nifty. Anyway. Raptor. I may yes. All the animated backgrounds that I have, so the brick wall here with my logo on it and the lamp and whatnot, this overlay is actually done by Slum. The background I just showed you is from Pixabay. I'm gonna share that in chat. Pixabay is where I have gotten all the music for this stream, as well as all my animated backgrounds. They are fun to load into. I can show some more of these because I actually really enjoy. So I've got kind of like a rainy mood. I've got this. Got some more rain. I like the rain. We got a bokeh background. Got winter with trees and some fairy lights. We got a cozy bedroom with a fireplace. Christmas background. Got a really CG cabin. Don't worry about it. You may have seen this background on Slum's stream. I recommended Pixabay to Slum as well for her charity stream. We've got this cool nighttime like cabin scene. Got the beach vibes. Got a nice sunset. Becca found this one. Cool cyberpunk city. Apparently Ditto had this as like their desktop background for like the longest time. And this one is one of my personal favorites. So what I do is I get my projector up here and I do that. And I position myself like over here. Yeah.
Imagine taking ties on a date by the ocean, just you and me.
Anyway. Yeah, I know, Becca. All right, so I don't want to keep Kana waiting any longer, because we're only going to have about like 2 hours of playtime. So hopefully we can get to a good spot. So I'm going to stop the music once it gets to the end of the track here, and we're going to start transitioning over to Resident Evil Village. If you need to take a break, get a drink, use the washroom or anything like that, now would be the time to do it. I'm not going to transition to my Be Right Back screen. We're just going to do all this live. I am going to end my recording.